Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Couvret. I don't know most of you people, and, well, after this speech, you probably won't want to know me. So I've been a friend of the Frisbee family and a friend of Don Frisbee for over 50 years. And there's absolutely nothing that Don and I wouldn't do for each other. So for the last 50 years, that's what we've done, absolutely nothing for each other. I'm kidding, of course. If you know Don, he is kind, caring, loving, generous, sincere, honest, handsome. Don, is that worm-hearted or warm-hearted? I can't read your handwriting. And when can I come in to get those? When can I come in to get those tires for free? Can I come in early next week? 50% off for everybody here for tires for the rest of your life, by the way. And rotation, alignments, and car repairs. What else do you guys do? Anything? So Don called me up and he said Emily had asked if I would speak at this event. And, you know, Don has screwed me around a lot over the 50 years. And he has BS'd me more times than I care to remember. So I emailed Emily and I said, are you sure? I asked her 3 questions. First question, are you crazy? Second question, do you actually want me to speak at this event? Third question, are you crazy? And you'll understand why in a moment. Emily said, yes, I would like you to speak. So I do have the email in case after this you say, how is that possible? They let this guy speak. I do have evidence. So what I found out after I grilled Don for 20 minutes when he did call me up was 2 things. One is that I was the 500th person that they had asked to speak. So I wasn't top on the list. I was down real low. And most of you people were probably asked. You're sitting here looking at me saying, they got that guy. So the second thing was that they were desperate. They could tell that this wedding was going to be a complete flop. They needed some entertainment. And, you know, up to this point, I can understand why they were thinking that. You got some drunken guys up here slobbering and telling people how wonderful everybody is, when really the true stories have not come out. I know that. This is a bunch of BS, okay? Yeah, that is for sure. I know because I've got friends here myself. First of all, I want to thank Emily for inviting me to speak because I don't get to speak at too many weddings. And I'm going to tell you why I don't get to speak at too many weddings. She may have thought, well, maybe Dan would be a good person to speak because I used to be the publisher of Wedding Bells magazine. So I have a lot of wedding experience. But then I went to the dark side, as we call it in my business, about 16 years ago, and I started another magazine. Now, I'm hesitant to even say what it is, but it is called Divorce Magazine. So, and yes, that is D-I-V-O-R-C-E, and I'm not BSing you. So, you know, you don't normally want to bring up that subject at a wedding, but that's what I do every day. So. But the other reason why she may have wanted me to come and speak at this wedding is that I'm a happily married man. My wife is right over there, who is deeply, deeply devoted and committed to one woman and one woman only. That happens to be Jennifer Aniston. But my wife, Martha, is very understanding, so we're working through that. I love you, Jennifer. Are you here? Oh, she's not here. Dawn promised. There she is. Dawn promised me she'd be here. Yes, thank you. Yeah. By the way, are there any crazy French people here? We're in Quebec. Any French people here? No? Oh, un person? Oh, deux? Oh, c'est bon. My father was French. My mother was English. I describe myself as being half French and half normal. And talking about my father, he was a great guy. I know you guys have talked about fathers here and stuff like that. My dad, he was a considerate, caring guy. Like, for example, he didn't like taking taxis because he felt like he was taking the person out of their way. And I'll hit you later. I said he was caring and considerate, not bright. Okay. But talking about great men, there are a couple of great men who Don touched on one of them, but I want to touch on another one and a couple of great women who need to be acknowledged at this wedding. And who I'm talking about is Don's father, Jim, and Sarah's father, who's already been mentioned. And you could not find 2 more determined and strong men than those 2 guys. When I was writing this speech, I was listening to the radio, and the song that actually came on when I wrote that down was Tom Petty's song, And the song is, anybody know the song? I Won't Back Down. And that came on for those two guys. You couldn't have had a better song than those two guys. Now, I'm going to get to a point here, don't worry. Then you have two very strong women, Sarah's mother and Dawn's mother. They are rocks, those two women. So, Peter, this young lady has the DNA to make your life absolutely wonderful or a real misery, I got to tell you. So when she digs her heels in, and those, by the way, will be $250 heels, when she digs those heels in, you just better ask for forgiveness right from the get-go. So the reason why, Emily, I'm thinking through, well, why would she ask me to speak at this wedding, was perhaps, given that I've seen the good side, working at Wedding Bells magazine, the maybe not so good side, being the publisher of Divorce magazine, perhaps I had some pearls of wisdom to share for their marriage. Now, Emily always struck me as being a little bit shy, so I figured that maybe she was not comfortable enough to have the most necessary conversation that a woman needs to have with a man, and that she really wanted me to bring up the subject, which I think is critical to a successful marriage. No, it's close to it. It's, what does a guy need to do to get the nookie? So, can I have some water, please? So before I get on to that, I need a drink of water. While you... So get out your notepads, boys, because this is years of experience. I'm 56. I know I don't look a day over 40, but I've got lots and lots of experience. And so the thought about getting nookie on a regular basis, Peter thought, I'm getting it now. If I were to get married, I'd get it now plus more. I mean, that's a logical conclusion, wouldn't you think? That if you got married... I know, the women are thinking that makes no sense whatsoever, right? But to a guy, that makes some sense. That's enough sense to build a 40, 50, 60-year relationship. And again, I know there's no single woman here who believes that that makes sense. Now, unfortunately, the logical conclusion which most men come to is extremely, extremely flawed, because something unpredictable, something unexplainable, and quite frankly, unbelievable happens once the marriage occurs. What happens without warning is that the rules for getting the nookie change quite dramatically. As I have painstakingly outlined, and I went to great expense to do this, so I'm going to ask these boys to walk up front here, and I'm going to do the demonstration. And if you don't know this song, this is Limp Bizkit. It's a nookie song. And by the way, Peter, your biscuit's going to be, yeah, well, hold on. You can bring it down for a moment, boys. Let's bring it down for a moment. That one stays closed. So this song is by Limp Bizkit, and it's called Nookie. And Peter, your biscuit's going to be a little limper than you like moving forward. So we start down at this end with the pink chart here. I want to highlight this. This is the early stages in a relationship. This is getting the nookie in the early stages of the relationship. And you can see the graph has a dollar sign over here, and it has time here. So it's time and money based analogy. So as you move through here, so this would be boy and girl in room for more than 30 seconds. The nookie is happening in the early stages. You move towards this direction, dinner plus boy and girl equals nookie. You're coming up this way, you better add a present in, because you're going present, boy, girl, nookie, more expensive present, boy, girl, nookie. Sounds wonderful. Men can understand it, they can adapt to it, they can move forward. However, after the wedding takes place, shit happens. And you move into this chart. Now the nookie is down here. You're getting the nookie down here, boys. You got to come back here, though. You can see it's a little bit longer. A little longer stretch to get down there. So you start out. It's pretty good. You're going along. You buy a present. Take her out. Do nice things. Fix shit. Oh, I'm going out with the boys tonight. Oh, you're not. Back you come to the beginning. Okay. So the calculation is based on money, activity, time, point calculation, random, nonsensical. Do you have... Oh, nonsensical. Anyway. So then you move up a little bit further. You're coming along. You're coming along. You're coming along. You're coming along. You're coming. Oh, back to the beginning you go. You didn't say, how was your day, honey? How was your day? Even though you don't give a shit. You have to ask the question. Otherwise, you're coming back. Okay? Women, by the way, can read minds. Even if you have a thought in your head, you're coming back to the beginning. Okay, so we're moving along. Here is where women get you. This one, she is coming on to you. You wonder why. You wonder why. You wonder why. You wonder why. Bang, she's pregnant. Oh, my God, the one time you got Nookie. Now, you're out of this system. The system is gone. We can close that up. That system no longer exists. I'm sorry. That's gone. You can put that away. Oh, one sec. Hold on. Let me get this. Well, I'm giving this to Peter now because this will be a very faint memory in a few years. Here you go, Peter. You'll need that. You won't believe that time ever existed in your life. All right. So this phase here, higher, sorry. There's not much to see here. This is when you have children. This is known as the dark phase, okay? You are not getting any Nookie during this phase. Just give it up. Forget about it. But equally, if not more importantly, you are losing points every single... What's that?
I wasn't telling him that part of the story.
No, that's it. You got to be honest with the guy. It's a little too late, Peter. I'm sorry, brother. Better late than never. So... this is the dark phase. One child is 2 panels. You just keep on adding more panels if you're having more children. The thing is that you can only lose points. You cannot gain points during this time phase. It does not matter. You are losing points every day. They're hecklers. They're disagreeing with the chart or something. Okay. Hey, I'm the one I spent more time in this friggin' wedding than anybody here. I got to tell you. Yeah. So, all this stress from these people, this is terrible. So now you move in, you have children, okay? This is the phase you move into now. The Nookie line is up here, okay? This is unattainable. It is, you'll never get Nookie at this point. So you've gone through this. This is when mountain climbing seems like a good idea. Bungee jumping. You get heavy into drinking. You go to your male doctor. He'll just hand you friggin' pills. He'll understand. Just tell him you're married. He'll just give you pills. He'll, take whatever you have to take. This is not a time to be thinking about wheatgrass or any shit like that. You get into drugs. Heavy drugs. Okay. So you move. You got the kid. She's on, the kid's actually... yeah, you move into this phase. You got one kid. The Nookie line is up here, and it says, line you need to reach, but never will. You start back here, and you move along here, and you gain. You're not going. You can see the lines like this. You're not going anywhere. You're only losing points periodically. And if you want to have a child, there would be a spike up to hit the Nookie line for the second or third child. So these are things like, you come along. She's realizing you're really not necessary. You're losing points. You come back up. You do something nice. Who knows what? She knows every thought you have. I got actually a list I have to read. So, well, I'm sorry to say it, but I do have a list here. So, things can change at any moment. There was some certainty back here, but things in this area can change at any moment. So I want to tell you how they change. So you have to, the things that are included as factors in here is how Emily's day went. And by the way, it doesn't really matter how her day went, whether it went good or whether bad. You're not getting Nookie in this phase, okay? It's based on the time of the month, and no, I don't mean that. It can be any friggin' time of the month. You ain't getting Nookie in this phase. It's based on the woman's access to chocolate and alcohol. So that's very important during this phase. It's also based on her proximity to insects, because they don't like insects. If they get near her, you've gone down because you're the insect protector man for some reason. The availability of parking spaces at the Rideau Center comes into play in here. How well her nail polish is holding up. The selection of shoes at her favorite shoe store. Anything you say, don't say, think, you think you might think, she thinks you might think, a lifetime of past lives that you had thoughts of during those past lives, they all come into play during this phase. The way Just have a couple more things. The way you breathe, the way you look, the way you don't look, the way you notice things, the way you don't notice things, the things you say, the things you don't say. Wise, again, are telepathic. The wind, cloud formations, anything to do with humidity. Let's put it this way. You are not screwed as opposed to being screwed in this phase. Okay, your only hope is that someday, if you're lucky, you have grandchildren. I hope you do. Good luck.
Well, Dan, thanks a lot for that. A lot of unanswered questions there for all of us single men. If anyone would like to speak privately with Dan, he will take appointments.